Hey everyone, welcome to the Camp Staff Podcast. I'm your host David. Joined with me here today is your other host Zach.
Hey David, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. How about yourself?
Well, that's a great question because I have a really good story I would like to tell that happened to me like the other day.
You can go for it, man.
All right, so the other day I was just walking down the street,
Mm-hmm. Like one does.
and yeah, I was doing my steps on my Fitbit, and when I realized that my Apple Watch went, the steps were already maxed out because I did all my steps today on my Google Watch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Trying to follow.
yeah,
I don't
I
think I'm
I
knowing.
I found out that I was actually at a Taco Bell, and I grabbed myself a good old triple lupa and watched Cars 2 on Blu-ray.
Amazing.
Yeah,
What's the moral of the story? All right, moving on.
Welcome to Applebee's.
Okay. Right, moving on. So, joined with us today is our co-host Austin. Say hi, Austin.
What's up?
We actually have a very special guest today, my old area director. So everybody say hi, Sam.
He drives a Corvette.
True.
There you
Hello.
go.
Sam.
Hi.
Oh.
Nice.
I actually
Beautiful.
have a little response to Zach's little story. It's more of in the form of a question, but it's who asked? And according to the World Population Studies, approximately 108 billion people have lived on this planet. Assuming that the average lifespan of these people was 25, there has been around 2.7 trillion years of life. If we multiply this by the number of days in a year, 365, there's a total of 985.5 trillion days. Not once in any of those days did anybody ask.
Excellent observation, Sam.
You lost me at the beginning.
Actually,
Austin-
David did ask. First of
I'm failing.
Okay,
school,
no,
so I'm
I
trying
mean,
understand
to
what
be
it is.
fair, yes, but no at the same time. All right. Well,
shut up, David.
Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your experiences? What's your past experiences at camp been like? Like what staff experience do you have? My bad.
My past staff experience. So I worked there at summers 13, 14, 15, 18, and 19. I started as a CIT in 2013. Took 14 and 15 as a regular staff member. 18 and 19, I worked as an area director. So my whole camp career has consisted of archery, and that's it. Whenever I wrote down my application, I said my top three choices are archery, archery, and archery. And if I don't work archery, can't have me, I guess.
Off the menu, if not archery.
Yeah.
My first year I wasn't like that. The second year, definitely, I was like, I can't see myself working any other place on camp, right? I just felt
right.
You just find one area and you're just like, yeah, this is my piece that I can provide to camp,
Yeah, I could work in any other shooting sports, but I can't teach as well as I can in archery. I've been shooting, guns as long as I have been archery, but I just find a lot more passion to be in that sport, and it's just where I find myself to be most comfortable.
Absolutely. So, let's just kick it right off the bat with what's a fun archery story? Like, what's the most memorable moment from archery that you have so far?
Oh man, it's really hard to choose, but I think that honestly, my first year in 2018 as an archery director was the most the most fun I've had in a year, because I really felt like I had control over what I felt like the archery merit badge should be.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously keeping it within the
The
respect of the
guidelines,
archery,
yeah.
the guidelines of the archery merit badge. But I really felt like, as far as like tangents I could go on, and as far as having the students have fun, I really felt like I could make it my own and make it what I really, wanted the merit badge to be. Because I took it in 2012 as a student, even though I had already been shooting for 2 or 3 years before that with one of my troop members, and he made it one of the most fun merit badges that I've ever had. Given I've never had experience outside a summer camp with I kind of shaped it into what I want to be, and that was really a dream of mine.
Mhm.
So I got to live that out.
That's awesome. Just from what I can say, 2018 was also my first year working under him, and I had zero experience working under an area director, right? And I can say right now that Sam definitely showed up to the plate. He did a really good job.
That means a lot.
Mm-hmm. Austin or Zach, do you have any questions for Sam? Sam, as we start off our show.
All right, you ready for this? I have a good question.
Go for
Go
it.
for it.
What is the weirdest thing you ever seen at camp?
David.
So, do you want the weirdest thing I've ever seen at camp or the weirdest thing that's appropriate for the podcast?
First, let's go with the appropriate one.
Good.
Not even though
All
I've
right.
Austin seen a guy shove a hose up his. You know what?
No,
yeah,
I didn't
okay.
see it. I heard about it.
Interesting.
All right, we'll move beyond that. Let's go with the weirdest thing that I didn't see on staff because we could get a few people in trouble if I say that. But the weirdest thing I saw, let's keep it to the archery range. We had a few international campers. Actually, it's almost an everyday occurrence, and David could speak to this.
Oh yeah.
Anyone that seems to not be from America really doesn't get the privilege to experience the weapons that we get to have here, you know.
Mhm.
So literally any international camper does not know how to grip a bow. Like little do they know anything about guns, but especially bows because that's just an uncommon weapon in America, I guess you could say, because
Mhm.
I don't know now. Like,
And
people
it's
like
not
to
big
shoot
in
'em.
Europe either, apparently.
Yeah.
Like from
So anyone that seems to want to shoot a bow from a foreign country likes to hold it upside down and or backwards and shoot it at themselves. Of course, we try to,
uh-huh.
or we don't.
We
more
had
than try.
remember
we
the
do prevent
international
it.
scout that threw an arrow because he thought that's how you do it. Like he just put the bow up to it
Yeah.
and he just tried throwing the arrow.
Yeah,
It's pretty great.
Did you ever think the scouts are
see-
pointing at themselves and needed help?
Oh yeah, that's something that we we sprint over to them.
Oh yeah.
But I think let's go with our top three. So we have scouts pointing the arrow at themselves.
Mhm.
We have scouts that hold the bow upside down and backwards at the same time. And then number one, the craziest thing I've ever seen was a scout shoot the bow, not the arrow.
I remember that. It was like you just hear this wretched sound and you're just like, what? How did you do that? He's holding the arrow in his hand and the bow's fallen on the ground.
Yeah, trust me, I could have tried and never replicated it. The bow went about 3/4 of the way to the target and the arrow landed on the ground right next to them. So I guess if you're right-handed, you let go of your left hand first and the bow goes towards the target with the momentum of the string, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how you achieve that.
And I do not think this 12-year-old boy just threw the bow. I just
How
can't
far did it
imagine.
go?
It went about 7 yards, which is a lot further than you would think.
Nice.
I've studied, a lot of physics and a lot of engineering, and I still can't figure that one out.
I remember multiple times. One of our coworkers, Chris, he's saved me twice now. So there's on camp you always have interactions with special needs scouts, right?
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. So I fully, I'm okay with that in the program. I'm encouraging
Diversity.
it essentially. Yeah, diversity. And there was one time a special needs scout was shaking, right? Is now let's just call him Joe, right? So Joe was shaking right next to the bow, and I was trying to deal with another student who was like cross-eyed dominant. Which if you guys don't know what that means, it's like he's right-handed but his left eye is dominant. It's a big thing that comes up in most campers just because it's something they haven't really faced before. Anyways, I was trying to help him deal with that, right? And then Joe is to my right, but I'm facing left. And Joe is trying to get my attention, but to try to get my attention, he was going to shoot me with an arrow. So Joe was trying to essentially he was trying to pull back the string and start tapping me with the arrow and asking me, "Is this how you do it?" Right? He was repeating that. eventually Chris had to come over and he grabbed the arrow and he just chucked it. He just chucked it down the thing. He was like, I don't know why I threw it, but I felt I needed to. So
It's better than it being in the bow pointed at you.
yeah, right. So
No,
how
I-
did
But
and if we want to provide a little more context for that, David is our
Pretty thick.
specialty. Well, okay, yeah.
Wow.
David is our specialty scout wrangler, if that's a good term. He is really good with dealing with special needs scouts or dealing with people with scouts that are out.
And what I learned was that you have to like adapt to the situation to figure out how you're gonna get spread the knowledge to one person to another, if they have like a special ability or not.
The
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The edge method: explain, demonstrate, guide, and
end?
ensemble.
Enable. Just end. Imagine teaching somebody the square knot and just ending their life right there after it.
That's all you need to know.
That's yeah.
Shono winter camp time uses.
Oh no.
In Jacoby.
Jacoby, yes.
So, David, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, let's just keep it going with the archery stories.
Yeah, this is the point.
Archery episode is kind of, our thing. So,
I miss archery.
I do too, honestly. This COVID stuff is getting me down because we were supposed to have a training weekend coming up soon.
We're actually doing online training now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That should go
Yeah.
interestingly because I really hope they lock it. I really hope they lock it. You know what I'm saying?
And we all
Doesn't
have
lock
two. David, what do you mean by lock it?
Like, I hope everybody's not talking at once. I hope everybody's cannot just speak whenever they want to
Well,
speak.
it's going to be like an online Zoom class. Have you done online classes yet?
It's,
no,
it's
I'm
terrible.
homeschooled.
Yeah, you're homeschooled.
Yeah, we're using Microsoft Teams to.
Yeah, let me speak from a junior college perspective, and it's just as much of a madhouse as you would expect.
Yeah, that's what I'm just hoping not to
But they
encounter.
can mute us if they see that we're talking.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And we have to make 2 syllabi now.
Oh,
One for
so-
on camp, one for virtual camp.
Are you serious?
So
Yep, sir.
essentially, you're gonna download Bowmasters on your phone, and
I message archery.
I message archery. Yeah,
I
that's
just
what we'll
looked
do.
down on my phone. I see Bowmasters right there, actually.
That's pretty funny.
Is there any digging games?
Archaeology.
Minecraft.
Is there...
Oh, there you
Alright,
go.
guys, we're digging down to bedrock. Hopefully, we can find a chest.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna find some diamonds.
pickaxe.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's keep it on the topic of archery, right?
Archery,
So-
virtual archery.
Bowmasters.
Bowmasters. Play free today.
Archery.io.
All right.
Or is it archer.io? It's one of those
That's
two.
archer.io. I have the game.
Why?
I had it. I don't know. No, it's Arch Hero.
Yeah, archer.io.
Oh, then there's another one.
My goodness, we just go on so many tangents. It's ridiculous.
You gotta-
All right. So, Sam,
Yes.
Sam.
what's the most fun thing you've done with archery that you can talk about?
Yeah, what's the most fun thing you've done with archery that you can talk about on this podcast?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer
Camp Staff
David, not
Podcast.
Austin.
Dang,
Yeah,
my
so-
name's Austin now.
So, no, I'm
No,
answering
Zach.
David, not Austin.
I'm
so the
worthless
most
now.
fun thing I've done is shoot from. If you think of the archery range as a square, if you shoot from corner to corner, that's I don't know, 60, 65-ish yards.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah.
around either 65 or it was 70. Because remember that one guy walked onto our range with this like super expensive like rangefinder thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was about 65, 70.
So I set up a GoPro on the target out there, and we set up a water balloon, and I don't know, various targets. It really didn't matter the target. We, shotgun targets. It was just testing my skills at 60, 70 yards. That was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more things I've done with archery that's not allowed on camp. That's a lot more fun. But as far as camp goes, that's
Mm-hmm. So since it wasn't on camp, what's some things that were off camp that you can talk about?
well, off camp. I mean, obviously you can't hunt on camp, but
Mhm.
archery, bow hunting is one of my passions that I like to do. That and think of frisbee golf, but archery.
Yeah.
I had a buddy throw out either a regular frisbee or like a foam target, kind of like a frisbee,
Mhm.
shooting that out of the air. That was probably some of the most fun I've had in archery. I've also shot. It's called a boomstick. So you screw it in like a normal.
Oh yes. Those are.
Yeah. So you put a 357 round into the end of an arrow, and the arrow
Uh-huh.
kind of hits it like the firing pin on a handgun, and that's used for hog hunting normally. But I just did it on some like watermelon targets.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Exploding targets with round up. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Sam's cutting out a little bit, so we're gonna give him some time for his internet to readjust. Zach.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry I responded that quickly.
Yeah. He was like, Anyways, did you ever learn about the time where I almost got shot by an ex-staff member?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I was there.
What?
I think you were there too. So,
Yeah.
there was this girl. Let's call her Julia.
Let's call her Grenda.
Grenda. I like Grenda more.
Grenda.
Okay, so Grenda, she was a very
Sounds like a lunch
outspoken.
lady.
She was a very outspoken person. She, nobody can really contest her opinion. I'm just trying to give you a visual of who this person was.
She worked in a trading post, so what do you expect?
Right. So, we were just there during our lunch break, and we were just running the range for the staff. Some of the staff just wanted to let off some steam, just trying to shoot normally. Everybody was just listening to the commands. Our range master at the time, he was there. It was one of the old over 18 staff who still had a certification, so everything was completely legal. So we were running the whistle commands and everything. We taught her the whistle commands. It was time to retrieve our arrows, right? And then everybody goes out. I just happen to be shooting next to her, right? I'm on the staff target. She's on target number 1, whatever. We're shooting at the same target. I walk out to go retrieve my arrows, and then whoosh, an arrow flies by me about probably 4 inches away. And she was like, whoops, I still had one. And then we had to get on to her for 15 minutes until she eventually just ran away. She was so upset at us because she was like, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't hit him. But in reality, I almost got shot in the back with an arrow.
I remember that day.
That was
That was a day.
That was a day, all right.
also the microphone that you used call-outs for broke I think around the same day from the same person.
That's right. We usually don't use whistle commands on our camp because whistles are too easily obtainable, right? So false commands can happen, so it's kind of like a safety hazard. So we use a PA system, and Grinda decided she wanted to click it as many times as humanly possible. Think of like a trucker microphone, but she was just clicking. Yeah, breaker. And then she would just do that over and over again until we eventually told her to stop. And by the time we've told her to stop, the microphone was well broken.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's all I got about almost getting shot. That's all.
Perfect example of an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big deal. I almost shot you in the back, man.
I didn't even hit you. That's how bad I am at archery. That was one of Grinda's lines.
It could be life changing, but big deal.
Hey, I almost hit you.
Yeah, well, you could have had a great camp story.
That would have been a way better story, honestly.
Yeah, right?
I mean, the best I can get is Cub Scouts shooting me with, blunt tip arrows on accident. But, we're talking about, a 6-year-old compared to a whole 17-year-old Grinda.
Or
like
like
a
a 6-year-old compound bow. You know the compound bows
Oh,
are
yeah.
for 6-year-old.
With like literally yarn as the string. I know.
Yeah, common occurrence.
So at Trailblazers, Ryan usually will just make up like a BS story that's completely false. And so when we go on our hikes, he walks past Action Archery where that used to where it is, and it is rotting.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, and the campers are like, "Why is this place closed?" And Ryan's like, "Yeah, it's because I got shot."
Well, that's a good way to keep kids away, I guess.
Right?
And he
That
has
place creeps me out.
he has a scar on his chest. I think it was a birthmark. And he'll just lift his shirt up and show people that,
Mm-hmm.
just to scare them.
That's the perfect camp story.
Really? Because like
And every week, and this story still goes on to this day. Like this past summer, people are like, "Remember Ryan and how he got shot?" And I was like, "Yeah, I remember that." 2 years still going on.
That's what it's all about. Just like staff camp is across the lake, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like how,
same thing.
Staff camp is so far across the lake you can't even see it. What can I say?
Yeah. It's a long walk and canoe life.
we all go on a boat.
A long walk across.
I like when we're telling, our very real story that like we come up with the craziest logistics of how we get across the lake. One time I told a
different
camper,
from staff member to staff member also.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has a different envision of what it would be like. Like one time I told a kid like we take a ferry across the lake. One time I told him we take jet skis.
I told a
Sometimes it's
kid that I get the
canoes.
mile swim every single day.
Yeah, or you swim across it yourself. And somehow they don't figure it out. It's great.
I say I just drive around it or drive through it.
I'm waiting for a kid just to sleep out there just to watch us come.
I knew it.
The one guy.
We decided to walk today. What are you talking about?
We got to get our steps in on our Google Fitbit Apple Watch.
Oh yeah, we had an off day today.
Has anybody
They took
ever
us on the
checked the
train.
lake at night? What if there is a staff camp across the lake? It's like
There's
the
no
Girl
staff-
houses.
Scout camp is.
There is actually like houses right across from the
Yeah,
lake.
there's
Mhm.
real houses. That's where I tell.
The,
That's where I tell kids that we sleep.
The great
The-
staff camp in the sky.
the woodland natives that you don't have.
Nice. Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
We're kind of dying, guys. So let's pick it back up with another story. Austin, you're expected to have a full blown story right now. Go.
Like how the time he almost burned down camp. Oh wait, that was last episode.
Oh, yep.
Okay, this was like not expected.
I know.
I know.
Neither were you from the moon.
Do we talk about a log going up my butt?
You can. Yeah.
So yeah, I had a little incident during winter camp. So Zach and I were teaching pioneering.
I was
Yeah.
teaching pioneering. He was just screwing around. First off, let's just rephrase that.
Okay, Zach was teaching pioneering, and I was testing the tripods. All right. Now some of these guys had some really really good tripods. All right, and I was testing them, and I was able to hang off them, climb to the top, and sit on them. And then I go to this one group. I remember one of their names. I'm just gonna say they're 14. That's their
Yeah.
name, 14.
It was 14.
And,
She ate 14 marshmallows in one
yeah.
sitting. A
14
s'mores.
marshmallows in one sitting, and she's not even fat. She was like skinny. And yeah, so that group they made a tripod, right? So I wanted to go test it out, and then their tripod was basically bad. I don't know what happened, but when I sat on it, it fell, and the log that I was sitting on slipped, and the log underneath me went up my butt.
Yeah, it literally bruised his anus, his butthole.
And then I checked a few days later, and then so I was in our bunkhouse room, right? And I was looking at it. I was trying to find out if I was bruised or not because it was hurting for days. Like I
He
felt
took a
like I broke
picture
my
of it
tailbone.
with his phone.
I felt like I bruised. I felt like I broke my tailbone or something. Like it didn't actually hurt my butt. I just landed wrong. And then like me to say that because it's funny. And then I was sitting there and I look up and all I see is he's gonna be on the show, Justin. Was sitting on his bed and I thought the room was empty. And he had a clear view of my ass.
You have your butt?
Yeah. Good
And
thing is, it took like 4 weeks, but finally I found out my tailbone wasn't broken.
It was just bruised.
Very bruised. It hurt.
I remember you said you took a picture of it. You took a picture of it on your phone with your
Yeah.
phone.
No.
Well, obviously you can't see your butt.
I can.
What?
Yeah, who can't?
Yeah, see? Everyone does that.
You turn 180.
You
Mhm.
180?
Okay, I didn't take a picture. I basically like did like a mirror, you know?
It's something visual we want to be giving our audience, not gonna
So-
lie.
Do you have that picture still saved? Or?
No, I didn't take a picture.
Oh, you
But it's
didn't
like,
take
huh?
You didn't take
I-
the picture.
Justin did.
Justin did,
did.
obviously. Just helping a homie out.
Yeah. And then
Just take a
I
picture
didn't
for
say
the
anything.
homies.
I just walked out of the room. And then a few weeks later, I brought up. He's like, "Yeah, I saw it, but I wasn't gonna question it."
That's a real homie right there.
That's a real homie.
He's a homie.
He probably was trying not to look, or he was just not caring. He was just like, ah.
I didn't notice he was in there. I thought I looked everywhere, but he was like sleeping, and then he woke up midway through. I was only in there for like 20 seconds.
Midway through.
You know, my
As
my
if there's a
ass was
process.
hurting. My ass was hurting. Okay, my tailbone felt broken. I couldn't sit down. Over
My-
New Year's I couldn't sit down.
I did it so hard, I can't feel my left leg anymore. My left leg has gone totally numb.
Hey, it's your boy.
Oh,
I
this
should've got
sounds
I
this
should've
sounds
got
like a
workers'
really
comp.
good time
449.
to wrap up before we get a little too rowdy. You know what I'm saying?
I should have got workers' comp.
We'll
I should've applied.
we'll save this conversation for the after hours podcast.
I'm asking my program director for workers' comp. I actually did. He declined.
Okay, so I would like to thank Sam Victor for being on the episode. Thank you, Sam.
It's a pleasure.
I
David?
expect to see Sam on future episodes. We might have Alex come back on as a guest again. He was a pleasure to have. Also,
Me and
another.
Alex could put together a good story.
I was thinking him,
Good off-camp
Alex, and
story,
Bubba.
too.
Ooh,
All three
Alex, Bubba, Robert, and Sam.
Yep, let's put together an off-camp story.
of them. What's
Yes,
well,
sir.
maybe that'll be our first after hours.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good
Um,
after hours.
Thank you, Austin, for being on the show again.
Ka-chow.
6
Stop.
episodes in a row, still a permanent guest.
Guys,
I'd like
we
to
cannot
thank-
get rid of him.
I'd like to
just been
thank the
sitting in
listeners.
the Discord call this entire time.
Yeah.
All
And I'd
right.
like to thank the listeners like you.